Tennessee's non-conference opponents went 2-2 this week. The two winners, New Mexico State over UTEP 34-31. You had ETSU getting it done against the Citadel 28-26. The other two games, USF beating up on UAB 48-18. There was a stabbing incident earlier in the day for UAB. One of the players stabbed two other players, and I think at the team breakfast. And the player that did the stabbing was Gerald Mincy's brother.
Really?
Yeah. I looked it up just to see if there was relation between the two because I didn't want to make any assumptions at that point in time. And I looked at UAB's roster, scrolled down to Daniel Mincy, and looked at his profile, said he has a brother, Gerald. So, Gerald Mincy's brother involved in that. He played at Kentucky last year, too, with his brother. So, really unfortunate that happened. And I think UAB was even flirting with the idea of calling off the game just because of that incident and, getting it in your head and kind of ruining the product on the field. But USF able to get a big win for Alex Golish. We'll see how much longer he is at USF, just if somebody happens to come calling here in the next few weeks, which seems like a very real possibility. The other non-conference game, goodness gracious, Notre Dame 70, Syracuse 7. Notre Dame had 3 touchdowns before Syracuse even touched the ball. I hate it for Fran Brown, man. I think he's a good coach, but he's just been dealt a tough situation this year. That's not at all on him. With his quarterback blowing out his Achilles the third week of the season. But I do hate that Notre Dame is getting rewarded for a win like that because they got style points against what could be a 3-9 team here at the end of the season. But moving on to the SEC games of importance, which there were really only 3 this past weekend outside of Tennessee, Florida. You had Texas winning 52-37 against Arkansas. This was a close game for about a half, and then Texas really pulled away. As we know, Arkansas's defense is terrible. Arch had, I believe, a career-high 389 pass yards, 4 passing touchdowns, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown in this game. So career day for Arch Manning against what is an abysmal defense. Taylon Green left the game with an injury following a play where he did like a shovel pass interception. One of the worst looking interceptions I've ever seen. Most unfortunate interceptions. He thought he had a receiver there and he didn't. And then the linebacker sneaks up and grabs it. And in real time, I was like, what on earth is that?
Hey, the old Carson Wentz.
Yeah, exactly. Carson Wentz. That's what I thought the moment I saw it. But one thing, though, they did have their backup quarterback whose name is, oddly enough, KJ Jackson, oddly similar to KJ Jefferson. He did a pretty good job in this game. I think Arkansas, because I don't think they'll beat Missouri, I think they may go down as the greatest 2-10 team of all time in college football.
Yeah, I mean, because I thought Arkansas looked good at times during this season, but I mean, I don't know. They can't string together wins, it's seemingly, but yeah, it's a shame for Arkansas, and like you said with Syracuse too, I feel bad for them too, man. Like, because I think like with the right quarterback in the system for Syracuse, like they can run some things in ACC. I don't know if they could be one of the upper echelon tiers, but it was pretty impressive what they were doing to Steve Angeli before he went down, considering that they already had the nation's leader in passing the year prior, and for them to replicate that until the injury, I mean, it's just unfortunate, but. Yeah, a lot of unfortunate teams this season, man.
Yeah, tough stuff for both Arkansas and Syracuse. Those right now are the two teams that are going to have the worst records on Tennessee's schedule. Texas is one loss away from being 8-4, and they play Texas A&M this week, so that could definitely happen. It's not impossible. Just 2 more here on the schedule. Very, very light week on the schedule side. Vanderbilt getting it done 45-17 against Kentucky. Diego Pavia, 484 pass yards and 5 touchdowns, just 1 interception in this game. Game was really over at halftime. I'm pretty sure there was a pregame scuffle at one point. Kentucky fans still outpopulated Vanderbilt fans, which is, it's so funny to me. Like, all these Vandy fans are like, we've manufactured this great home environment. You know, it's very intimate, you know. It's a 30,000 seat stadium there that they got at Vanderbilt, but it's just like, really, guys, you're still getting outpopulated by visiting fans. Like the care for Vanderbilt football, I know it's more than what it once was, but let's not overestimate our self-importance just yet. Like, and I get it. They got a good team this year. Heck, they might even beat Tennessee next week, but it's not going to change anything. There still are just not anywhere near the number of Vanderbilt fans as there are Tennessee fans. That is a significantly smaller number of people.
Yeah, and I bet it is intimate. Like it's sitting in a stadium that's smaller than a high school football stadium in Texas with your other 5 fans in the stadium. Like, yeah, I bet it is very intimate with that. But yeah, Vanderbilt. I mean, Diego Pavia, I mean, he's continued to play well throughout this season. I mean, it's definitely something Tennessee's going to have to manage going into the game this Saturday. But yeah, Vanderbilt keeps reeling off wins somehow, some way. I mean, I never once thought that we'd be having a conversation about Vanderbilt potentially going into the playoffs, but here we are. Vanderbilt has exceeded many people's expectations, and credit to them for making this game more exciting this year, because I think a lot of Tennessee fans have viewed the Vanderbilt game kind of similarly to like how Florida's treated some of the games in the past with Tennessee. It's like, more often than not, Tennessee's going to get a win regardless of the circumstances. I know it's changed a little bit in the 21st century, but you always like your odds when you're playing against Vanderbilt when you're Tennessee.
Typically, this year I do think it's a little different. We just haven't seen a Vanderbilt team this good in literally a century. We've
like
not
ever
seen Vanderbilt be this good. No, they are abnormally good. Unfortunate for Kentucky, they fall to 5-6, but they could beat Louisville next week and get to a bowl game, and that would be good for Tennessee's sake to just say you have a team on your schedule that is going to a bowl game that you beat. Because right now you're hoping either Mississippi State or Kentucky or both can do that next week. I don't have as much confidence in Mississippi State to do it unless the Lane Kiffin drama really is boiling over and maybe they pull off the upset. I don't know. But I would hope they're able to do that just for Tennessee's sake of the strength of schedule. But if you do beat Vanderbilt, that is automatically your best win on the schedule, as insane as that is to say. Because and I do want to mention this with this schedule this year for Tennessee. And one thing that I'm going to credit Josh Heupel for, despite the fact that this has been in some ways a little bit of a frustrating year, but you've still looked like a competitive football team. One of the big criticisms among Tennessee fans about Josh Heupel is, he's going to win you a lot of games, but there's always that one game that he shouldn't lose, and he ends up losing it every single year. There's not going to be one of those this year, honestly, because, depending on what happens in the Iron Bowl this weekend, and depending on whether or not Tennessee wins this weekend, if you lose this weekend and Alabama wins this weekend, all of your losses will be to teams that won 10-plus games. Think about that.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy the way that this season has turned out because, like you said, I mean, Tennessee's only losses are against really good opponents, like some of the best teams in college football right now. But their wins, man, it's just been unfortunate with the opponents that Tennessee's faced because, like, some of them have shown flashes. Like, there was a time where I thought Mississippi State was a pretty good football team, but the schedule's just not reflecting it. It's a weird season because Tennessee doesn't really have any quality wins per se. I mean, I guess it would have to be between Florida, Kentucky, maybe, or and you're talking about like some pretty bad teams here. But I mean, thankfully Tennessee, they avoided disaster scenario of going 7-5 this year, which I was starting to think was going to be a real possibility after the Oklahoma game. But thankfully, Tennessee was able to get the job done in Florida, hopefully get the job done at Vanderbilt. And like you said, if they get that win over the Vanderbilt, as odd as it sounds, it will be Tennessee's biggest win of the season. And a lot of bragging rights in that game.
Quick little bonus round here for you. Washington blowing out UCLA over the weekend. I think that was 48-13. I don't have it written down anywhere, but there was a hilarious fake field goal try in that game that just completely blew up in UCLA's face and went the other way for a touchdown. UCLA now 3-8 for the season. They got USC left on the schedule. They could be 3-9 to end this season with Nico. And I have to be careful how I say this because I don't want to make it sound like it's funny to rob charities. But there is a report floating around out there that UCLA had to steal money from like a charity out in LA to fund Nico's $1.2 million that they bought him for from Tennessee, which is messed up. And it goes to show you like why you should not like that family and UCLA for doing that also. That's very messed up. If that is true, I mean, it may not be true, but I've seen that rumor floating around online. I don't know if it's confirmed, if it's a confirmed report or not, but messed up stuff out there from UCLA. Butch Jones, by the way, losing 34-30 to Louisiana Lafayette. He had one of his infamous meltdowns. I don't know if you saw this, Jordan. He was screaming words I can't really say on here, but
they caught it on tape.
Oh yeah, it was on. It was filmed. Him walking off the field. He's
let
not
me write this down. I gotta see this.
He has not changed. I'll send it to you. I have this saved somewhere, but he's not changed since he left Tennessee. He still rages out all the time. He apparently just completely mismanaged the situation down the stretch for Arkansas State. So they're now 5-6 playing against Appalachian State in a do or die game as it relates to bowl eligibility. They're both 5-6 going into that game. So always good to see Butch Jones lose.
Yeah, and Butch Jones, I've seen in the past couple of years, seeing more people try to defend Butch Jones and try to appreciate some of the things he did at Tennessee. There was a story I heard while he was still the coach that completely changed my mind on him forever. And I don't care if he had like a couple of good seasons at Tennessee. I mean, now I don't know if it's confirmed. It was a while ago since I read this, but I heard, you know Anton Davis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best offensive linemen that ever played at Tennessee. Well, I heard that he was on staff there for something. He wasn't a part of the coaching staff or something. He had some role at the university. And apparently, like, Butch Jones was extremely mean to Anton Davis to the point to where I think, like, Anton Davis had, like, severe, like, he didn't want to show up to work. Like, I could be getting this wrong because this is, like, over a decade-long story. But I remember hearing that, like, Butch Jones mistreated Evolve for Life and kind of made him hate his job and all this. And it's like, how are you going to do that to a guy that like is the reason why you are Tennessee's coach? People like Anton Davis that has paved the way, winning games, being successful. For you to get this opportunity to go to Tennessee, I would be thanking someone like Anton Davis, not bullying him like the reports were. And after I heard that story, I lost all sympathy for Butch Jones. And we saw how much of a character he was in the press conferences too. So is it really that surprising?
Yeah, well, you know who Butch Jones's mentor and predecessor was in every step of the way? Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense.
That does make
where he gets all those mannerisms from. But there's only one thing you need to know about why Butch Jones is a terrible coach, and it's because he landed on a helmet, and that's the truth. And what do we want from our media? Yeah, that whole thing's a mess. That and the Championship of Life, which I think belongs to Stanford now. There was a guy from, I think, AL.com that tracked it ever since he said it 9 years ago. And if you're tracking it, like where it's changed hands, like the team who beat the team because Vanderbilt beat Tennessee after that quote was said. And then Vanderbilt lost to somebody the next year. So they've just been tracking where it's been changing hands, and Stanford has it now.